There was one line I liked in your report where you said America has too often been chasing the future rather than working to shape it. And I have that concern about Latin America. I think that we have taken our eye off the ball because of all of the other things we've had to work on around the world. The hemisphere is obviously very important to us from a trade perspective, but it's also important to us from an emerging democracy perspective, as well as the challenges to democracy that folks like Chavez and Morales and others pose in the region. Where do you see our relationship with Latin America in the next 10 to 20 years, and do you have concerns about Venezuela and threats that they may pose? I see the growing connections between Caracas and Tehran. The presence of Hezbollah and Hamas in Latin America gives me a lot of cause for concern.
I'd like to comment on how strongly I agree with your comments on Latin America. Indeed, when I was the Secretary, I visited Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Venezuela. I was amazed to learn that I was the first Secretary of Defense to visit Mexico. I established a meeting of the defense ministers, of all the defense ministers in the hemisphere, which meetings, biannual meetings, are still continued to this day, and we created the Center for Hemispheric Defense Studies. In spite of that, I think that there's been a slacking off of interest in that in recent years, and I would very much urge that we return to that interest and strengthen those. We have substantial security interest in Latin America.
Well, thank you both, and I want to just, my time is up, but a follow-on comment to what both of you said, Mr. Hadley, what you commented about Mexico. I mean, Mexico occurs to me that it's in the situation Colombia was in 10 years ago when they're fighting for their very life, and we need to have not just diplomatic help for Mexico, but we need to have, like we did with Colombia, a military-to-military strong relationship now so that they can fight back what has really become an existential threat to that government. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I couldn't agree, by the way, more with you on that last point, the importance of working with Mexico, specifically at helping them deal with their problem, and using Colombia as an example of what can and should be done.